What's that?
What does it look like?
I haven't had a snowball in years.
What's the calories in that?
I don't know, actually. Let me have a quick look.
Sorry,
Sorry, we just totally hijacked trying to start the podcast.
What are the calories in a snowball? I mean, we could have done this on air.
Is it one drink that Rob's drinking, or is it multiple that he mixes together?
It's multiple because you have to have a bit of Advocaat
Doesn't
and
pay.
and lemonade.
And a bit of lime juice and a maraschino cherry. So it's quite camp.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, I'm going to mute you. We're going to start the show. Welcome to What? That Old Queen, a candid and adult take on queer life quandaries at a certain age. So please listen at your own discretion. Presented by Bernie and Tommy, their views are their own and in no way reflect those of any service you may hear this program on. Now, let your ears be upstanding for the Old Queen. Hey, Tommy.
Hi, Bernie.
Hi, how you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm all right.
We're back in Zoom.
We're back in Zoom in quarantine Christmas.
Yeah, it's not bad though, is it?
No, it's all right. And we've got some guests because
I
we're
know.
doing a Queermas party. We have Robbie and Matthew and Ryan.
They are waving, but they're not. I don't know if that works on a podcast.
Hi.
You're not muted anymore, so it's fine. You can all talk.
I did notice that we were waving, but the other two went first and waved, and I thought I should just carry on.
I am recording this, so I could just kind of maybe do Celebrity Squares or something.
Well, Bernie, that's what I always wanted. I watched things like Celebrity Squares, and they always had people doing that two-handed wave. And I always wanted to be on TV and do one of those little kind of D-list celebrity two-handed waves.
I mean, why haven't they done Celebrity Squares on Zoom during lockdown? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Why have they not done this? Because every time I'm on a group Zoom, I just think of Celebrity Squares.
Same.
They're bringing back Blankety Blank on Christmas Day, aren't they?
I know. I love Blankety Blank.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites.
Matthew Walsh.
Will they be doing it on Zoom?
No, it's in the studio. But I mean, it actually works quite well for social distancing, doesn't it? Because they're not sitting very close together.
Yeah. Celebrity Squares is even better for social distancing. Why has it not come back? So four of us are in Bristol, and Ryan, you're in Utrecht.
Yes, I'm in the Netherlands.
How is it in the Netherlands?
Well, I mean, it's all right, really. We're also in lockdown, but there's calm amongst people, so it seems less chaotic than what I think is happening in the UK right now.
Is there any sign of snow?
No, apparently it doesn't snow here that often. It just gets it's just very grey here, but that's okay.
Sounds like Britain.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's practically the same.
Why on earth did you move?
Has it got anything to do with Brexit?
Yeah, I think Brexit has a lot to do with why I moved, and the looming deadline, and just all-round incompetence of the government. And then I thought, what's keeping me from going? And I was like, nothing. So I went, and here I am, gone.
Well, you're there, and also here. So are we all feeling Christmassy? Because this is our special Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Kind of. I've got my Christmas drink. I've got my snowball, and and I did a little Christmas shop on Christmas Day, food shop earlier, and bought some 1970s prawn cocktail, and so yeah, kind of got the tree up as Christmassy as one can make it, whilst all the chaos reigns around us, I think.
During a pandemic. Yeah, it definitely feels like a weird Christmas. It doesn't feel like Christmas at all here, really, at the moment. For me. How about you, Tommy? You've been doing a Christmas panto.
Yes, which has just stopped on Saturday. It finished, so I've spent the last 2 days practically just lying on my sofa watching TV, and it feels like quite weird to be so tired from that, but because you're really just sat in front of a computer. But it was quite exhausting.
But Zoom is tiring anyway, isn't it? It's quite. You have to. I mean, there's a lot of concentration that goes on in a show.
Yeah, there's a lot of fiddly bits with like spotlighting yourself and hiding your camera, but yeah, I feel refreshed now after 2 days of watching crap on the telly.
Well, we'll get into what you watched on the telly a bit later on, but I want to talk about the pagan origins of Christmas, and there's some information about that in the Cabinet of Curiosities, so I thought we'd get that open again.
Yeah, open it.
I'll bring you all in with me on the tablet.
Is there room for all of us?
On Zoom. Well, you're all on Zoom, so you'll be there virtually, and I'll be there in reality.
I can't ever really understand how big this cabinet is. Like,
well, you know the TARDIS.
I think more of the wardrobe in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, I mean it's like a cross between the two. But anyway, I'll open it up, and we'll see what's inside. The reason why I also wanted to do it is because I think the music to the Cabinet of Curiosities sounds a bit Christmassy. It's a bit like the Sugar Plum Fairy.
Which we can't hear, but I'm sure you're enjoying.
I'm loving it. Well, here we are in the Cabinet of Curiosities.
Oh, look at that.
Smells a bit here.
Yeah. I've been meaning to talk to the cleaner about that. So I'm going to go to the pagan section and go to Christmas. And there's a little plaque which says early Christians had a soft spot for pagans, would you believe? And also, it's a mistake to say that Christmas traditions come directly from pre-Christian paganism, according to Ronald Hutton, a historian from Bristol University.
He used to teach my ex-boyfriend.
Did he?
Yeah. He's always on TV. He looks like the definition of a kind of dusty professor.
Well, we've got him tied up in the corner in the Cabinet of Curiosities right now.
He was a really good teacher, apparently.
He is when he's compos mentis. So Tommy, can you read the rest of the plaque for me?
Yeah, I enjoyed the way you said plaque.
Okay.
So when early Christians spread their religion across Europe, there were a variety of local and regional creeds that people were living by. These people were all lumped together under the same banner of pagans. Pagan linguistically means field, and these other beliefs were rural, whilst Christianity was urban.
So the reason why Ronald, he's still alive, I think, says that Christmas traditions aren't directly from pre-Christian paganism is because they were from lots of different traditions. So paganism was just a name which they lumped all these other religious beliefs under. So it wasn't just one kind of religion. It was like lots of different ones which are under the banner of paganism. And early Christians were...
When you meet a pagan, you've got to say which branch
yeah,
are you
exactly. So early Christians were fascinated by these ancient traditions and wanted to mark and remember them, so incorporated them into the new Christian festivals.
The Christmas tree is a 17th century German invention that derives from pagan practice of bringing greenery indoors for decoration in midwinter, which I just love. I love putting a tree inside. And actually, throughout the whole of lockdown, I just developed a whole big habit on like houseplants.
Yeah, well, I love my houseplants, but also we always had like holly and ivy. What's the other one? Mistletoe at Christmas.
Did you kiss anyone under the mistletoe?
Well, that would be telling. What about you guys? Did you have a tradition of bringing in greenery at Christmas?
Yeah, we were never allowed to get the tree until after December the 13th because that was my sister's birthday, and it mustn't eclipse the birthday.
Right.
So when I got my tree this year, I got it slightly earlier than that, and I felt a bit naughty. But yeah, we had a tree, and we used to have mistletoe and holly and stuff.
Does your sister still abide by that rule?
I don't know, actually. I imagine she probably does, yeah, because she's basically turning into my mum.
Right. Ryan, in the Netherlands, is there any kind of pagan traditions which you've picked up?
Well, we have a Christmas tree. We have a massive one, actually. I'll show it to you, but obviously it's not going to be. It's there in the corner.
Oh yeah, that's quite a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really have anything to do with it. My housemates brought in this massive tree.
It's a very long room you're in.
It is a very long room. And there's this massive window onto the street.
Right.
And people just keep their curtains open over here. So you just look in other people's houses.
Wow.
It's a very kind of, everyone's keeping their eye on each other. But it's also, it's weird, but it's also kind of nice.
Mm. So no porn in the living room?
No,
Okay.
that's an upstairs area.
Okay.
But just around the corner from where I live is the biggest sex shop in the Netherlands. It's an erotic mega store. It's absolutely massive.
Have you been in?
I've not been in yet. It was open the first few days I was here, but since the lockdown, it's been closed.
Do they have
So
any pagan greenery?
Well, there's a pair of lingerie, which is green, but I presume that the lingerie isn't pagan.
Lingerie. Tommy, should we get back to Santa? Because I know you love a bit of Santa.
I do have a fetish for Santa, that's true.
Santa Claus is a direct descendant of England's Father Christmas and other European variations, who were all incarnations of old pagan spirits or sky spirits who travelled about the sky in winter. Has anyone seen any of these sky spirits? No.
I'm trying desperately to think of some kind of innuendo in relation to that, but I can't.
There's in the Netherlands, there's a variation of Santa Claus called Sinterklaas, but Sinterklaas visits on December the 5th. And the thing I like most about Sinterklaas is that he lives in Spain. He lives in the south of Spain. And he travels over by boat for a few days, hands out some presents, and then goes back to Spain.
That sounds like a way better idea.
What does he look like?
I just imagine him looking like a big old expat kind of stuntman. All right, having his fry up and reading the Sun. Oh, bloody hell, we've got to go up to the fucking Netherlands.
He just looks like Santa Claus, but with a Pope hat on, you know.
And a tan.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, tell us more about the pagan winter solstice.
Christmas is a natural time for a feast. The shortest day of the year, winter solstice, could need to be lightened with feasts and decorations, especially in areas of the world where winters are dark. But feasts and celebrations at this time helped avoid depression and other psychological disorders brought on by this time, which is nice. And I think that's what we all need, really. Just a bit of jingle jangles, sparkly lights, sequins.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
And so many people are in lockdown over Christmas this year, and it feels a bit wrong, doesn't it? Because it is a time when there is celebration and going to the pub and parties, and it definitely doesn't feel the same.
But it also feels a bit like it's returning to its pagan roots, because we're basically all kind of stockpiling food as if we're going to be hibernating for months. Like, it feels like the roots, you know, a big meal.
Well, a feast.
A feast, exactly.
A feast is what you need. So, giving gifts is actually a relatively new tradition at Christmas. They used to be given on New Year's Day as a blessing for people to make them feel good as the year ends. I mean, I think we're all going to feel good when this year ends. Apparently, gift giving at Christmas was made popular by Queen Victoria who gave her husband and children gifts on Christmas Eve in the 1840s and 1850s. So what do you think about that?
So just one decade?
2 decades. Well, that's kind of...
Actually, on that label, it says from the 1840s to the 1850s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well...
What a tight pitch.
Really, really bad person typed this. I'll have words with them.
I like the idea of New Year's Day gifts instead, because it just gives you a bit more time to work with, and then you could get something in the sales.
Yeah, but I guess the sales wouldn't start until after New Year's Day if gift giving was back at that time.
Well, we don't need to tell the shops that.
Okay.
And actually, the sales have already started, haven't they, this year?
They always start before Christmas. I don't really understand. Ryan, so gift giving is on the 5th of December in the Netherlands.
Well, everyone gives, I think Sinterklaas gives gifts out mainly to children on the 5th of December. And then there's people give gifts to each other on the 25th.
Right. Because in France, they usually do it on Christmas Eve, the 24th, don't they?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of European countries do that. It's only kind of here in America that we do the 25th.
So what do they all do on Christmas Day then? Just get pissed?
It's a bit more like our Boxing Day in France, I think.
Right.
It's like you feel fat and you like roll around on the sofa.
They all visit their mistresses.
Right.
Just to give a huge generalization to the French.
Yeah.
What's going to happen for me on Boxing Day?
Oh, is it? Well, we won't go into that. Take us to church, Tommy, instead.
The church was, in fact, slow to embrace Christmas for hundreds of years. They didn't think that they needed to celebrate Jesus' birthday. It wasn't until the 4th century that church leaders embraced the holiday, because people didn't believe that Jesus was a real person and was just a spiritual entity who they worshipped. They thought he had just appeared like a hologram. So they had to humanize him and give him a birthday. So they decided to coincide it with the celebration of the lengthening of the days of the 25th, which was the day that the sun was reborn after dying for 3 days. It began ascending in the sky. So Jesus is linked with the pagan celebration.
Wow, there you go. And when I was researching this in another part of the Cabinet of Curiosities, it said that there's nothing in the Bible to say when Jesus was born.
Mm. Well, do you know what that one made me think of?
What?
Theresa May. You know, when they tried to humanize Theresa May, they sort of tried to say, "Oh, and who takes the bins out, Theresa?" And they tried to get her to dance and stuff like that, because everyone just thought that. Well, I don't think they thought that she was a hologram, but they thought that she was a bit of a robot.
The Maybot.
And, yeah, and it didn't work very well for her, but it's panned out differently for Jesus, so it seems.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I quite like the fact that this is really a pagan festival, not really a Christian one, which is the whole reason for this article, really. Christian Puritans hated the holiday after the schism, which is when the Catholic Church kind of split and became Protestant and Catholic, and considered it no better than paganism. I mean, everything we've just said probably just proves that, doesn't it? It literally is a pagan festival. They literally had an aversion to the bawdy nature of Christmas, of the feasting, of drinking and parties and celebration. I mean, they would, because they're Puritans, right?
Hang on. Going back to the Jesus thing. So they didn't think that Jesus was a real person, but we've turned him into a real person. So,
well, people
wasn't he a real? What?
Well, the church claim that he is a real person, but the people that were Christians in the early ADs, let's put it that way, didn't actually believe he was a real person. They just thought he was like a spiritual being that had just appeared. So there was nothing to say when his birthday was.
It was a massive PR exercise.
Pretty much.
What did they make of the Bible then when he was doing all of that stuff?
Well, maybe they rewrote it.
Right.
But you said he was like a hologram, and I'm just curious as to how long holograms have been around. It's quite a while.
That was just an analogy, Ryan.
So it would be.
I'm just bringing it up to date.
Jesus was on Zoom in something AD.
Yeah.
I see.
Suddenly he appeared on Zoom on the 1st century AD and started turning...
During Easter, he had to do an update.
Yeah. And apparently he could set the background to look like he was walking on water.
This explains everything.
I know, right?
The whole Bible makes sense if it's in a Zoom context.
The Bible on Zoom.
According to queers. Tommy, have you got something else to say about this?
What did you have in mind? I mean, I've got something to say about everything.
I think you've got another bit of the trinket from the Cabinet of Curiosities to talk about.
Oh, yes, sorry. But this way of celebrating also stems from the ancient Roman Saturnalia, which was a very queer Roman festival, which stems from the time of feasting, cross-dressing, and orgies. So Christmas has had more queer roots than Christian. I think we all knew that anyway, didn't we?
I was wondering when there was going to be a queer link to this. We are.
Well, now we're in the Church of Queerness. Will you be doing much cross-dressing, Matthew, this Christmas?
Always. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And party, what were you going to say?
No, I was just chuckling.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I'm not going to be doing any cross-dressing, but I'm going to be having lots of orgies.
Well, that goes without saying. So, partying is an important part of LGBT plus culture. And the reason for that is much of our formative years are spent hiding your real identity and feelings. Being in the closet can sometimes make you miss out on clubbing, teenage romances. And so we spend the rest of our lives making up for that. But that's one of the reasons why I think we like partying, isn't it? Like things like Christmas and Halloween and New Year are quite big for... I know they're big for everyone, but they're quite big for...
I think they're big in
people.
different ways,
Yeah.
aren't they, for queers? Because if you think about, I was thinking about Christmas earlier, and actually, kind of the modern take on society's take on Christmas is actually quite puritanical, isn't it? It's a kind of about, it's a bit consumerist. It's about giving gifts to children if they've behaved properly, and and actually, it's quite, whilst it's feasting, it's a bit kind of sitting around the table with your nan, nodding off, and for a kind of non-queer culture, and actually the queers will kind of, and I'm not saying it's specific to queers, but we treat it as a kind of great, let's go and get shit-faced around at whose house or whatever, and it's almost like an extended Christmas New Year is our Bacchanalian, Saturnalian, whatever it is. We treat. We kind of the Christmassy bit is maybe subsumed by the party bit. Do you think?
Yeah.
Good.
I made this decision probably about 10, 15 years ago because I wasn't really a Christmassy kind of person, that I would just embrace it. And I've actually always worked for the big man, during Christmas. So I've either had jobs in the perfume department where, you sell a lot of perfume when you work in a department store over Christmas, or I've worked in a grotto as an elf. Well, this year, did the online panto. So I've always tried to just actually go full on in with it rather than react against it.
Do we think Christmas needs to be more queer? Is it too straight at the moment?
Yeah, I think I agree with Rob. I think that it actually, I reckon for a lot of queer people, well, certainly for me, it often felt like I was going home and having to kind of play a role. It always kind of is a bit like that when you go back to a family home, isn't it? But that actually it's not. I don't think of Christmas as being particularly kind of queer friendly. So for me, it was always coming back from my family and being able to go out with my friends again that was the kind of release bit, you know. So New Year, I feel there's more up our street,
more Saturnalia.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like working for Christmas has allowed me to actually find my place in it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's difficult to find your place in Christmas, and I guess going back to your family almost feels a little bit like going back to those formative years when you weren't out in a way, and you perhaps can't fully be yourself. I know so many people are out to their families and stuff, but there's still a kind of link there to that, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. And also probably a link before when you were young and kind of lost in your own imagination before you had to confront all the realities of society and kind of perception of what you were going to be. You know, my memory of Christmas when I was young was kind of sitting cross-legged, feeling the presents, looking at the coloured lights on the tree, and in almost this kind of dreamlike fantasy, really. And I think there's a bit of that as well. There's a kind of the kind of sitting sulkily like a teenager in your mum and dad's living room, but then before that there's the kind of the innocence a bit, and I think maybe the queers hark after that innocence a little bit, which is why that we don't reject Christmas because it is pretty camp and over the top, but there's also that childhood, and I think you look at a lot of queer culture and sensibility, it kind of harks back to an innocent time.
Yeah. Ryan, you won't be going home to your parents this Christmas, but your parents are pretty cool with your sexuality and everything, aren't they?
Well, I think so. I mean, I've never properly kind of, for me, like there's been no kind of coming out process, but my mum did ask about my sexuality over lockdown, actually, and that was a very nice open conversation. But there's never been any there's been nothing to come out from and into, which feels really nice. So there's no kind of Christmas at home is very much just about giving presents and a lot of fun. And I feel like Christmas is just camp inherently. Tinsel is just camp. It's just tinsel's just a camp object, and you kind of put really strange, very tacky decorations up in your homes. It's very strange when you think about Christmas.
Well, I've decorated my Christmas tree just in my pearl necklaces.
And
Nice.
it looks lovely. Well, on that note, on the pearl necklace, we will close the cabinet of curiosities and the pagan origins of Christmas, and the fact that it maybe should be a little bit more queer, right?
I think it's undecided.
Well, I've decided. Unfortunately, this year we can't do the banquet, which I put on for you guys last year, which was schnack out of it. And practically the whole show was snacking out on stuff. But we will.
I expected a little delivery through my door. I wanted a little kind of, hamper.
Yeah, but because of the lockdown and the new variant, I couldn't get that parcel to Utrecht. So, and I, in wanting to treat everyone the same, we're just going to use our imagination. Well, what I want to do, with a nod to a Christmas snack out of it, is know what are your favourite Christmas snacks?
Ryan sent me something that he's been snacking on recently.
Oh, yeah.
A picture of something.
Mm-hmm. What's that, Ryan?
It was a vegetarian sausage. Do you remember?
Oh, yes. I was suddenly very concerned then. I thought, what if I'm something accidentally? There's these little sausages I found in a supermarket, and they're just called Little Willies. They tasted very nice, actually.
Did they?
Yeah.
What did they taste like?
Well, I thought when I saw them, I was quite disappointed. But then when I had one, I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh, yeah, obviously. What about you, Robbie? What's your favourite Christmas snack?
Well, so I mean, just that normal kind of rest of the year, I'm very much a savoury kind of guy, and I'm all about the crisps. But I do indulge my sweet side at Christmas, and I have a penchant for kind of kitsch chocolate, really stuff like After Eights, and I always get a big box of After Eights in my stocking, and I quite like just shoveling them in greedily into my mouth, and giving myself a little fondant beer. And then maybe coming to at like 2 a.m. with something on the TV covered in empty envelopes of.
What a beautiful picture you've painted.
And I might feel like that you have a little bit of a pearl necklace going on there as well. Matthew, what's your favourite Christmas snack?
Well, I do like a pig in a blanket.
Oh yeah, me too. I was going to say pig in blankets.
Especially if they've been. Well, do you know what? I got a copy of Nigella's Christmas book the other week for £5 from eBay. And she does these pigs in blankets that are like glazed in honey. I'm into that.
That sounds amazing.
Also, I was watching a program today that was one of those programs on BBC One that was called like A Country Christmas or something. And it was only about halfway through that I realised it was a religious program, because they just every item just kept coming back to God. But anyway. They were in the, no, it's not the village called Wensleydale, but it was where they make Wensleydale cheese. And I was reminded that I really like a piece of fruitcake with a slice of cheese on it. Like that kind of sweet, savoury thing.
My dad used to love that. He used to like it toasted.
Wow.
So the cheese would be melting on top of the kind of warm Christmas cake or fruitcake.
My uncle used to like fry. The next day, he used to fry slices of Christmas pudding in butter. I mean, that is a recipe for a heart attack, isn't it?
I know, but sounds delicious.
Yeah.
I like a minty matchmaker.
Yeah. What avoiding the After Eight there?
Well, I do like an After Eight as well, but I also like a minty matchmaker. Chocolate sticks.
It's okay.
Why wouldn't you?
I used to like the box, the advert on the box.
What was that?
It says 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it always reminds me of Fiddler on the Roof.
How come?
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Da 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 dee, da 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 da. Do you know that song? No?
It's been a long time since I watched that musical, but I should check it out.
Especially this Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that bombshell, we'll have a little break and we'll be back after this. Right, so we're back, and everyone's still in the throne room, in the Zoom room, and this year, because of the virus, we've all had to do without a lot of things. But I want to ask the room, what is the thing that you cannot live without?
God.
You see, when I read your notes, I thought that was attached to the snack. So I was going to say the little rosemary cracker. But yeah, I've not thought this through.
You like a rosemary cracker?
Well, there's a particular little one that they do. Yeah,
right.
Which
I thought you said little.
Little.
So did I.
Just a little rosemary cracker.
Is this what you can't live without at Christmas, or just generally?
In general, as a little reflection on the year.
Well, I found that I'm obsessed with my telephone, and and that's the thing that immediately sprung to my mind.
Same, but I felt a bit depressed about that.
I know, I hate it, and I have actually, because I've started watching a lot more films, I have managed to get into the habit of switching the phone off just to watch the film. But then as soon as I finish the film, I'm like running to the phone to switch it on again, which is really annoying, but that's what I've done. But we watched, a couple of friends watched Far From the Madding Crowd last night. And we kept the phone on and we just commented on WhatsApp while we were going through.
Who's in that? Is it a new one?
Yeah, it's, what's that woman called that's in a lot of things?
Gillian Anderson?
Gillian Anderson, they seem to be getting everyone from The Crown to do the Marks and Spencer's adverts at the moment.
Yes,
I heard,
she's the one.
yeah, I heard Gillian Anderson's voice come on like a Marks and Spencer's advert. It was,
Julie Walters has done one as well.
yeah.
She's not in The Crown.
No, but
If she'd played the Queen, that would have been fun, wouldn't it?
that would have been bloody amazing. Or the Queen Mum
Yeah.
as Mrs. Overall.
Yeah.
Carrie Mulligan.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the one who does play the Queen in The Crown?
Olivia Colman.
She's definitely done a Marks and Spencer advert, and I thought it was exactly the same one as Gillian Anderson's.
Maybe.
So that's why I was thinking they were linking to The Crown. But
You seem a bit angry about it, Bernie. Is it something you want?
well, I'm just angry that I haven't been asked to do one yet.
A Marks and Spencer's advert read by Gillian Anderson just sounds amazing.
It was very good. She was doing her uber English accent for it.
Oh, it sounds very erotic.
It was quite sexual.
You've got a soft spot for Gillian Anderson, haven't you, Ryan?
I do love Gillian Anderson. She has this way of like pouting and like the way she delivers lines is just like, even when she was playing Thatcher, it was strangely arousing.
Can you do an impression of Gillian Anderson doing Margaret Thatcher?
Yes, I can try.
Come on then.
I don't see why, as a queer person, I should be allowed to do an accent of Gillian Anderson pretending to be Margaret Thatcher. That's how I feel.
That was amazing.
It's just so like it's so strange. Like everything was so strange, and then it was like every time she spoke, she was having a stroke.
Yeah, I didn't really like her in The Crown. I thought she was overdoing it. She did a weird thing with her mouth. The pout was too much. Yeah,
It was a bit strokey, wasn't it?
yeah.
Strokey. Robbie, what's the thing you cannot do without?
Cannot do without. Well, I guess it's kind of a cliche, really, but music, I suppose, is what I've had to fill my time with. And I was on furlough for nearly 3 months, and actually, a lot of the things that people say I can't do without, and I would count myself among them, things like human contact and all that kind of stuff, was there because everyone else was kind of doing that a little bit. So I didn't feel like I had to try very hard to find that. But then when I had these big kind of windswept afternoons of absolute existential nothingness, then I used to just lie on the sofa and drape myself on the sofa and listen to music and
You're listening to Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, lots of 80s Joni Mitchell, especially lots of kind of overproduced, kind of breathy Thomas Dolby 80s Joni Mitchell, and it was wonderful, and it totally kept me going. And I don't know what I would have done without that. Really, I think I would have properly lost the plot.
I hope that Joni knows that.
Yeah, I will. I might tweet her.
Well, I think she listens to the podcast, so
Does she?
yeah. Well, if she doesn't, she should.
Yeah.
Matthew, what can't you do without?
I think I can't do without 8 hours sleep. Like I think I don't behave very well if I've had less sleep than that. And I do think I really admire all my friends who've got kids and who go through that like long period where they get like 4 hours sleep a night, if that, and it's all. I mean, I think that's why gay people have such kind of youthful complexion, because they don't get that kind of half decade of being haggard and not getting any sleep. Anyway, yeah.
That doesn't pan out for me because I'm an insomniac. But
Are you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but maybe I'm not one of your youthful complexion gays.
Oh, I think you are.
I don't. I very often don't get 8 hours sleep. I sometimes just get 4 or 5.
Oh, Margaret Thatcher, she only had 4 hours sleep a night, didn't she?
Yeah, there's like a Japanese inventor who's like the top inventor, who's invented loads of things, really intelligent, and he only has 6 hours sleep a night.
Yeah, I just need it. I don't need any more than 8. I've never been a big liar inner, but like I need a decent kip.
But 6 hours, I'd be happy with 6 hours.
Yeah, I'm all right with 7, I think. But yeah.
Ryan, what can't you do without? Is it now those little willies?
Yeah, I mean,
Sausages?
I could do without little willies. They were very
Okay.
nice, but I'm not dependent on them.
Okay.
I'm not addicted yet. I don't think it's sad to say, but I don't think I could do without alcohol.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Like I said before, it's a safe space.
Like every time sometimes a glass of wine in the evening, it just takes the edge off the day.
Totally.
And I realize for some people, it's really obviously it's not great for some people, but it's been a nice friend to me
Yeah,
over lockdown.
I quite agree.
And I mean, I probably could do without it. Maybe this is an extreme thing to say. But I also associate it with socializing and friends, and I think that's why I can do without it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's good. Right. Well, I have quite a few Queens of Agony questions. Shall we do some?
Yes, please.
Okay. Right. So we'll interject with these. I've got like 3 longer ones and then a couple of kind of shorter ones. So this one had the subject of being a feminine gay. I'm 18 and identify as a man. I'm not really that feminine in the way that I act or dress, but my face and especially my body is just feminine. However, I don't understand why we always get hated on, especially on the apps. I feel like every time someone talks about feminine guys, it's that they're annoying, unattractive or undesirable, etc. I just brush it off, but I don't get it. I know everyone has a type and that's fine, but why is it they're always so hostile towards us? Is it really so bad to look more feminine?
Well, I think it's the patriarchy. It's interesting, that Thomas Hardy film was great last night that we watched. And it said there's a line in it that she says something, because she's a really strong woman. And she says something like, it's really difficult for a woman to express herself when all we're given is the language of men, or something. It's something, words to that effect. I wrote it down because I liked it so much. But, females or female identifying people will always feel that the dynamics of a power structure in place, I think.
Yeah, it's all right to be masculine, as in to be like a man, but it's not all right to be like a woman, is it?
And I think you're sort of, if you're a gay masculine man, then you're sort of fitting in with something that is quite binary, and so it's a bit more accepted.
Yeah. Well,
I listened to your yesterday. I listened to the episode that you did with Joe Bannon, and when you were talking about, I can't remember what the letter was in Queens of Agony, but it was about you ended up talking about masculinity, and Joe was saying how it feels like it's only really in the past kind of 10 or 15 years that this kind of hyper masculine thing has come in, where it's all about having the biggest muscles and being kind of super masculine, and that being a feminine gay person is just not seen as attractive. And I think that's really true. And so I can't remember what the exact phrasing of the question was, but I think it's not, I don't think it is a problem. Is that what the question was?
Yeah. Or also, why do they get hated on a lot on like Grindr and things like that?
But also, just to add, they also get absolute appreciation and love.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people that like the feminine gay man, that specifically want that.
I think this email came in from America, but some of the stuff that we get from America is quite different than the reactions that we get in the UK. Not completely different, but I think there's a lot of work to do in certain places in America. in terms
Yeah,
of...
I think what Tom was saying about maybe it's about like not fitting to the binary, and as soon as you don't fit into this kind of binary system, then you're other and you're different. And I feel like maybe this is what causes animosity on the apps, for example. But yeah, that's kind of sad, isn't it? And I personally really like feminine men. I find that very sexy and attractive.
Yeah. What about you, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing to add really, apart from that I agree with all of that. And I definitely find feminine men attractive, probably more attractive than a man who is trying to overcompensate for something by being overly masculine in inverted commas. So I can't pretend that I know psychologically what the reason is for this, and that you can suggest a lot of reasons, some of which have already been suggested. But I think the non-binary thing and the patriarchy thing are both relevant, and I think as well, maybe there's some maybe it just upsets some men who are a bit uncertain of their own sexuality and find it easier to be gay if it fits into a binary kind of heteronormative hole, so to speak, and if they see someone maybe that they do subconsciously fancy, but it doesn't kind of correspond to what they think their relationship or sexuality should tell them to fancy, then they feel threatened by that.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I think it's interesting what you said, Tommy, because I remember growing up in the 70s as a kid, and I used to love feminine stuff when I was a kid. I used to like putting on my mum's makeup. I used to skip up the road in my mum's pink frilly nightie. And I didn't really see that there was anything wrong with that at that time. But I did notice, I noticed everybody else didn't like me doing that. And there was a girl who was a tomboy, and nobody said a word about that. And I always remember thinking, why is it all right for her to be a tomboy? I wanted to be a Julie girl. I wanted to be more feminine. But then obviously as you get older, you realise that you have to try and fit in with society. And so you kind of hide all of that and become more masculine. I'm hoping that we're getting to a stage where people don't feel that they have to repress whatever they want to look like, whatever they want to put on, especially as a kid. I remember recently I saw a little boy dressed up as a princess in Marks and Spencer's, and I loved it. I was like, God, I wish I could have done that when I was a kid. And he was with his parents and everything, and they would just like let him do that, and I just loved it. Anyway, shall we move on to the next question?
Yes.
Right. As this is What That Old Queen, plans for old age. Yesterday, I was listening to a podcast asking older people about their experiences relating to aging. Having children doesn't solve anything, as I realised that there are millions of heteros with multiple children living their last years in nursing homes or on their own. Do you guys have active plans about dealing with your inevitable physical and mental decline?
Oh, God.
I mean, I think my physical and mental decline has already started.
At the end of the letter.
That's the end of the letter.
Dignitas. No, but I don't. But I know that you, Bernie, you've talked to friends of ours about old age, haven't you? And about the idea of everyone living in a big house together. I love that idea.
Yeah. I think more of a kind of commune, and maybe we could have some pretty young things to help us when we make a mess. I don't know. Tommy, what are your plans?
Well, because I'm in a situation where, I'm desperately trying to save up money so that I can actually buy my own property. And right at the beginning, before lockdown hit us, I was in conversations with a couple of people, and we were trying to work out a commune situation. And I was like, well, we definitely need it to be a mix of ages within. We wanted it to be not exclusively queer, but there to be a very queer presence within the commune. And then the person that was really leading on that became shielded, like, because of their situation. So they ended up just buying somewhere on their own they've got 2 children. And but I think that's not, I've not ruled that out of my head, really. That's the sort of kind of situation. And it's also connected to, like, for me, wanting to be near more outdoor space, really, because I'm living right in the heart of the centre, and I would like to have a bit more open space around me as well.
Yeah, totally. Robbie?
Yeah, we think we've talked about that commune idea as well before, which is appealing. And I guess that there probably aren't enough shambling old manor houses out on cliff tops for everyone to be to do that for, really. I don't know. I feel like society says that, if you're heterosexual and a heteronormative lifestyle, then you buy a house and then you pay off the mortgage and then you retire and then you've got that kind of equity in your house and that pays for and your children look after you in your dotage. And because we all, don't necessarily follow that, then we don't have that. So there's this big question mark, isn't there, about what happens when we get to our decrepitude. And I don't know. I think as long as there's a hot 19-year-old that pushes me out to a cliff top in a bath chair, and I'd be happy with that. And if I think he'll know one day that he can just kind of tip me over the edge. And,
yeah, I mean, in Spain, they've got their first old people's home, which was for gay people or LGBTQ plus people, and I quite like the idea of that. As you get older, I think I'd feel quite weird if I was put in a home with just a bunch of straight people. But I guess you'll say maybe a bit doolally by then. You don't care. I don't know.
Well, that's why there's a whole situation of people talking a lot about old people going back into the closet when they go into old age, when they go back into an old people's home. Yeah. There's a brilliant book that my friend wrote, Alan Clark, called Rory's Boys, about specifically, like, it's a fictional book about a gay old people's home.
Ryan, what are your plans?
Yes, at 26, I'm obviously very close to...
Totally. I mean, you're going to be coming back to the commune to look after all of us, right?
He's definitely going to. That's what I've booked him in for.
Right, great.
Yeah, I'm going to be Tom's carer.
Well, I think you're going to be all of our carers. I don't know about Tom getting exclusivity.
Well, Tom's booked me exclusively.
Well, we'll see about
that. I think I have a problem. I don't think I want to move into a commune. I think I'd find that I have what I'd really like to happen to me is that I'm rich enough to be able to be one of those people that lives in a hotel. So I'd like I'd like a suite in a hotel where
Margaret Thatcher now.
Yeah, totally. Exactly like Margaret Thatcher. Someone brings me my breakfast, I just get served. But I don't have to deal with the thing about living in a commune. You have to deal with the politics. I don't want to deal with that. I just want to be able to be in my room, watching TV.
Having the 19-year-old wheel you out round the gardens occasionally, and then off the cliff.
I want to be able to go downstairs to the ballroom and watch people dance, and
Okay, I quite like that idea. That's quite a nice. Although I fancy that none of us will be rich enough to do that. Yeah. But
it would have to be a really nice hotel. It couldn't be like a Premier Inn, could it?
Yeah, or I don't mind an aging hotel.
Yeah.
Fawlty Towers.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Anyway, should we move on? Something a little less depressing than growing older.
I wasn't depressed.
Dear old queens, how do I improve my kissing game? I started having a mini panic attack because I suddenly realised I haven't kissed anyone in over a year, and that I might be out of practice or sloppy as a result. Kissing is honestly my favourite activity of any sexual/romantic kind. and I wanted to pop the question to get some sage advice from the voices of experience. So, how do you improve your kissing game? Let's go to the youngest of us, Ryan. How do you improve your kissing game if you haven't done it for a while?
Well, I think if you're concerned about it being sloppy, then just try to not make it so sloppy. I feel like we've all kissed people who are bad at kissing, and we've all kissed people who are very good at kissing, and I suppose that's just life, isn't it? Like, I'm not sure if it's something you can. I'm not sure if it's something you can improve like a sport, and I'm not sure what's good or what's bad.
Is there some kind of kissing training that you could do?
One of those know the game books from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're concerned about, for example, if you're concerned about it being sloppy, then try to make it less sloppy by, not using so much of your inner mouth.
But the sloppy thing is like, some people have said, I really want to give you a sloppy kiss.
I don't see a problem with a sloppy kiss. I quite like a sloppy kiss sometimes.
Some people will want a sloppy kiss.
Yeah. Robbie, were you referring to kissing with confidence?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, confidence is totally how I learned to kiss. And for those listeners who don't know it, then it's an amazing song by Will Powers with a kind of spoken word kind of lesson about how to kiss and not have spinach in your teeth. And great song. So that would be my go-to, is listen to Kissing with Confidence by Will Powers.
Right. Matthew?
Well, I think
what's your best kissing tip?
Well, I think there's a difference between sloppy and lazy. I feel like sloppy is an active decision. Lazy is like, we've all kissed people who are lazy kissers, and I feel like that's just disappointing, isn't it? They don't kind of put in the effort.
Like they don't really want to kiss you.
What? No, it's more that they just don't do any of the work.
Well, that could be said for a number of sexual activities, to be honest.
No, I think I agree with Ryan. It's just like, I don't think you'll be out of practice. I think the way you kiss relates to the kind of person you are, and you'll be fine.
I think it's like riding a bike, and it depends who you're kissing and how vehemently you might do it, a la Call Me By Your Name, which we won't go back into.
I think that you need to want to kiss the person and kiss with consent. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
I like to kiss myself. I just like to kiss myself on the shoulder.
You do that thing, Tom, when you paint lipstick on your finger and thumb, and then make a little face, and then kiss.
Well, I've not done that, but I do, and I've often been in an act of lovemaking with another partner, and I'd like to kiss myself within that whole scenario.
Tom, can I just remind you, this isn't your OnlyFans page.
It's just a shoulder I'm getting at.
Right. Well, that's what.
Shoulder's all we need, Tom.
It does feel nice. If you just kiss your shoulder.
It does feel nice, yeah.
I can't get my shoulder out of this garb that I've got on. Okay, let's move on. I think don't worry about your kissing. You'll be fine. Yeah. And if they like you and you like them, it's going to be great.
Kiss a pillow.
Kiss a pillow. Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, these are kind of quick fire ones. Dear old queens, what makes gay men so witty?
Oscar Wilde. We've all inherited it from him.
Right.
He's our queer family tree.
We're all descended from Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Jews. They're all descended from Abraham. We're all descended from Oscar Wilde.
I actually think that's quite a profound question, because if you think, when I think about my life, in schools, particularly primary school, actually, the way that I managed to fit in with other people was through a sense. Well, Rob was in my secondary school, but through a sense of humour.
Yeah.
Definitely, I agree, and it's a good deflector, isn't it? Humor. If you feel like the cannon's turned on you, then if you can kind of use your wits to get yourself out of it, the defense mechanism, isn't it?
Totally. I went to like the roughest school, and one of the things that I did to not get beaten up was to do impressions of all of the teachers, like do funny impressions of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I used to do impressions of Margaret Thatcher.
did you? Do you want to give us your impression of Margaret Thatcher now, Tommy?
Well, I used to just this is at primary school.
Right.
I used to just say, "Hello, my name is Margaret Thatcher." It was a shit impression, but that's what everyone used to like know me as, the person that does impressions of Margaret Thatcher.
Right.
And also, I used to do in the Cub Scouts. I did an impression of, what was the one? Can't remember her name. She goes, "Oh, you should watch my new film. It's called Fire in the Woods."
Cupid
And
Stunt.
my clothes come off.
I'm telling you the plot.
Yeah, I'm telling you the plot.
Ryan, what makes gay men so witty?
I feel like I get my wit from hanging out with other queer people. I feel like some of my wit comes directly from Tom Marshman. Sometimes I do something and go, "Oh, Tom would love this if he was here." But also I feel like there's a sense of like embracing your otherness or embracing your silliness. And when you get past the point of like when something pops into your head, when you're unafraid to say it and be silly or be irreverent, then and I think queer people have to go through that process in other aspects of their life. I feel that helps you become more witty.
Yeah, maybe we're just a little bit more playful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love silliness.
This time last year, me and Ryan had just completed a big, massive tour of all the shows that I did. And we just drove around in Ryan's van and we just amused ourselves. The whole, like, we were on epic journeys, like from Newcastle to Bristol or Brighton, like long travels. And we just like, I would ask Ryan to do impressions of Laura Naverne or, we would just we would just entertain ourselves, wouldn't we?
Yes. At one journey, I remember Tom decided to sort out his phone bill on the journey, and it lasted an hour.
It lasted from Sydney to Colchester.
Yeah, it was an amazing thing to listen in on.
It sounds a hoot. Dear old queens, what's the celebrity crush that you have that makes others go, "What the fuck"?
Oh, wow. What a good question.
I've had one very recently, and I've moved into a European household. So 2 of my housemates are German, and my other housemate is French. And I let it slip that I have a secret crush on the head of the EU. It's called Ursula von der Leyen. It's a very embarrassing crush, but there's something about her, and I let it slip, and they haven't let it go that I have a crush on Ursula von der Leyen.
I'm just going to Google her right now.
I thought you were going to say Michel Barnier, because he is actually I reckon he was hot when he was younger. He's like he's a bit of a silver fox.
But what about you then, Matthew? What's your...
Yeah, I was just trying to think. I mean, there was a predictable one that I now feel kind of ashamed of. Like, I did have a bit of a crush on Rishi Sunak, and then now it's like that everyone was like, "Oh, dishy Rishi," and then also he's just like a dreadful Tory. So no, not him. I have a crush on it's really embarrassing. I do have a crush on Joe Wicks, the body coach. I think he is like quite cute, but he's also like, his voice is quite annoying. But like,
right, I bet Ryan can do an impression of Joe Wicks.
Yeah, come on, Ryan.
All right, everyone, my name's Joe Wicks. Welcome to my PE lesson. Today, we're going to be doing push-ups and we're going to be doing some step aerobics, everyone.
Very good. Like he'd probably be really annoying to be around, but I think he's quite a nice person. There we go.
Robbie?
I mean, this feels like it's of a time, but I remember saying this to a couple of people and getting that kind of face that they give you from it. And I used to really have a crush on, what's his name? Preston from the Ordinary Boys.
Oh yeah.
And I used to really fancy him. And I think he's a bit of a dick by all accounts. But yeah, I got kind of that what face off a couple of people when I admitted that. So I never talk about it now, even though I do still follow him on Instagram.
What about you, Bernie?
Well, there's probably a couple of people. I did have a bit of a crush on Michael Portillo for some reason.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. There's something about him which is...
He's very charismatic, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got blowjob lips.
I think that might be it.
Who
Who was the it girl? Like the British it girl?
Tara Palmer Tompkinson.
Yeah, I had a bit of a crush on her for a while. She's quite masculine.
She had gorgeous arms.
Yeah. Has she passed away now?
Yeah.
Oh, bless her. Okay. Well, I think we've come to the end of the show.
I haven't told you mine.
Oh, what's yours? I thought you had told us yours.
Have I?
What's yours, Tommy?
Trevor McDonald.
Amazing.
I don't think that's embarrassing for some reason.
I mean, he's 82.
What's wrong with that? We're all going to be 82 one day, right? Well, hopefully. But yeah, no, I can see Trevor McDonald.
I just like his voice.
Yeah, quite authoritarian, knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
Have you always had a crush on him? Like when you were young? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just carried on.
Not a recent thing.
No. I'm here for the long haul.
What was the boy band that guy was from, Robbie?
The Ordinary Boys.
The Ordinary Boys. Oh, right.
They were a bit shit. I think that's why I always got scoffed at, is because they were a bit of a shit band.
And he was in Big Brother, wasn't he?
Yeah, I got married to Chantel. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he stormed off Nevermind the Buzzcocks as well.
Oh, that's right.
But I still fancied him.
We're doing a reenactment of Celebrity Big Brother 6, which is the one that he's featured on. And I play Chantal and Pete Burns, which is a heavy mix.
Is that the series that George Galloway and Rula Lenska were in as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't play either of those characters, unfortunately.
It's the best series of
What a
Big
great
Brother.
lineup that is.
Yeah, it is great.
Would you like me to be the cat? I love it. Well, thankfully, no one has walked out on this podcast. But thank you all for being involved in our Zoom Queermas Quandary for 2020. Are we going to say good riddance to this year, or has there been any good that's come out of it?
There's been loads of good that's come out of it. Yeah, I think it's. I think I don't regret anything. You know, it's been shit for a lot of people, but for me, I've managed to find a way to navigate it.
What about everybody else?
Yeah, I think it's reset a lot of people, you know, or it's made them think about their lives and where they're at. And some people are going to go and do stuff with that. Some people are able to, some people aren't able to do it. But it's quite a good kind of pause to take stock, I guess, if you can afford to do that. And there are lots of people out there who can't. But yeah, you know, I think it will be interesting to see what happens. And I couldn't call it, you know, what's going to happen in the next few years, whether it'll go back to how it was or whether there'll be changes, and to what extent there will be. But I hope there will be positive ones.
Yeah, I read an article today about, like, after the 1918 flu pandemic, there was the Roaring Twenties. Did you read that? And then,
Yes.
and that whole thing that they reckon that it will be kind of 2024 when there'll be like flourishing arts and like and that after this there'll be like a kind of explosion of people wanting to do things that are in close proximity to each other, and, you know, lots of socializing and lots of partying, which I guess is what happened in the 20s. So I feel quite excited about that. I feel like it has been a shit year for lots of people, and same as you, Tom, I've managed to find a way through it. And like, certainly I feel like I'll really remember this year, and I feel like kind of quite. I don't know. There's something about being part of it that will stick around in my memory, and but also like it's not like at the stroke of midnight everything's going to be fine, is it? It's like
No.
rumbles on.
Yeah, it will.
I don't think 2021 is going to be like utopia.
I have a huge lot of optimism about 2021. So I think things will improve, and I think they'll improve as summer comes. And I mean, we've got like the festival of Brexit to look forward to. I'm very excited.
Obviously.
But in terms of the arts, I think it's what it's done is reset that balance. So the power structures that have existed for as long as I've been working in the arts, which is over 20 years, have been all held to question. And so like now artists are just doing it for themselves. And I think that's a really brilliant thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I also read that article about the Roaring Twenties and the Spanish flu. And I think you're right. I think what this year has made us realize is how much we lose from losing our freedom in many respects, and how much we had, and how much we had to be thankful for when we could have been so negative about it. And actually we realize all the positives about it. And hopefully that will come back with so much gusto, and we will have a new lease of life in 2021. Anyway, we have come back to the end of our podcast. Please, everyone, say goodbye to our lovely audience.
Goodbye, lovely audience.
Bye, lovely audience.
Bye.
Goodbye.
We will see you next time on What That Old Queen, and have a fabulous Christmas, whatever you're doing. You have been listening to What That Old Queen, written and presented by Tom Marshman and Bernie Hodges. The show was produced by Bernie Hodges for Hodge Podcasting in the year 2020. If you have a Queens of Agony question, or you'd like to be a guest, or if you'd like to sponsor one of our shows, you can email hello@thatoldqueen.com or find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.